Welcome to the Evening Review. My name is Sukhane Klache, and joining us in studio is Mr. Fluksman Samuehl, who is the CEO of the Ludwig's Waterfront Company, but joins us in his capacity as the chairperson of the CEO Public Enterprises Forum. Welcome to the Evening Review, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be in your company.
How would you describe the state of government's commercial state-owned enterprises?
Well, it's work in progress. I should start by saying that because there are indications that show that there is improvement in terms of governance and compliance by state-owned enterprises. The ministry responsible for finance and public enterprises has metrics which they measure compliance in terms of governance. And just this year, during the month of June, when we were gathered at Rietfontein for our annual gathering, a presentation was made by officials of the Ministry of Public Enterprises, and it really shows that there is a great improvement. Secondly, I must also say that the current generation of state-owned enterprises CEOs and MDs or accounting officers are better placed, they are better informed in terms of governance. They have deeper appreciation in terms of service delivery, and they understand why state-owned enterprises have been established by government to deliver services and products and to ensure that those entities are run efficiently. And I think the colleagues are doing their level best, I think, to ensure that state-owned enterprises improve. As I said, it's work in progress.
We often see from the sidelines as observers, you'd often find this infighting between the boards of state-owned enterprises and the MDs or CEOs that they appoint. Why do you believe that situation exists?
Yes, I think there are pockets of problems within the state-owned enterprise sector, which is very much unfortunate, because executive management and board should be able to work together to further the objectives of state-owned enterprises. They should not work against each other. But one must understand that boards are appointed by the government, and I think there is room in terms of improving quality of boards, because board or directors, when they are appointed to a certain entities or to a certain sector, they need to have the business acumen, they need to have the qualification, the experience. After all, they also need to demonstrate integrity and ethics. I'm not aware as the moment whether the appointing authority do subject members of the board as part of the recruitment, that there is a vetting exercise in terms of integrity and ethics as well. That is one. Secondly, I think there is also room when both are appointed, that the state, which is the appointing authority or the shareholder, should really do inductions to induct members to understand what is their primary responsibility. And the corporate governance dictate that board members are there to provide strategic direction, to support executive management, and to understand the vision, the mandate, and also the business objectives, and to identify opportunities in which board and management can work together in order to fulfill the objective that has been set. I think there is a room for improvement in those things that I have said. At the same time, of course, as CEOs of public enterprises, as I have said earlier on, we do interact, and the forum certainly that we have established in 2017 encourage state-owned enterprise CEOs to do their level best and to ensure that governance are adhered to, because the day-to-day activity is really the domain of executive management. So I think the forum has identified the poor working relationship between management and the board as the biggest threat, threat for stability. And I think that conversation of tackling that problem together with the government, because the government cannot be left out of this conversation, because they are the one who appoints the board of directors. And we need also to have this exercise to see what is the best model that Namibia should have to improve efficiency and stability and cooperation and all that. It cannot be that a CEO and the board chairperson, they can't see eye to eye, because if they do that, there's always this statement that if two elephants fight, the grassroots suffers, and the brand image of the entity also suffers as a result of that. So that has to stop, and the forum is going to initiate a conversation with all, so that we can try to prevent this kind of incidences.
We often see that state-owned enterprises, particularly those that are of a commercial nature, run to government for bailouts instead of declaring dividends. There are instances where state-owned enterprises declare dividends, but it's few and far in between. Why do you believe this is the case?
Well, some of these things really of the so-called bailout did not start yesterday or immediately. Some of the state-owned enterprises, these things have a historical background, dating back even in the early 90s, when poor decision may have been taken, and they're still haunting us today. So, and certainly there are business model and that have been discussed, approved by the board, presented to government, or what you even can call turnaround strategies or integrated business plan that has been developed. And normally a business plan of these entities, for it to work, it's not just up to the management and the board alone. It needs constantly the shareholder. The shareholder may have a role as well to play in order to ensure that everything works. In other words, some of these business plans that have been approved by the shareholder needs financial injection to stimulate certain things, to put things into place. But we have seen, because of other challenges, of economic challenges that government is also going through, that these resources are not coming through. They're not coming through, and some state-owned enterprises, of course, are forced even to look at commercial banks to get money. In other words, so not everything is really bailout. Some of it is just to capitalize state-owned entities, to position them with this evolving change and so on, after we have come a long way from these historical challenges that are haunting us today.
And then just to add to that, we see a lot of our SOEs play in the space of private business, where private businesses should be involved. We find the presence of state-owned enterprises. Should the state really then, in that regard, be involved in private business?
Well, we are operating in a mixed economy, and certainly government, by its very nature, is there to create enabling environment for private sector to flourish. Now the business environment that exists in the country, of course, allow also certain state-owned enterprises who are classified as commercial entities to be in the space of providing services and products as well. And some of them, of course, may end up even competing with a private sector. For instance, just to give you an example, I mean, if you run a port, for instance, there are costs that is associated of running that port. Of course, you have to pay water, electricity, you have to have people, you have to have overheads that you have to pay. This cost, of course, it does not mean that if this cost is, if this port is run by the state, so therefore you are exempted for paying services lower than the private sector who's maybe running a port, for instance. So you have to be seen as be on the ball to try and to ensure that your overheads are covered and that you are able to make a profit as well. And at the same time as well, you must also be able to make your services and products affordable to the public as well. So that balancing act is not easy to maintain, because the state or the shareholder expect from us to ensure that our services are affordable to the public. But there are certain external factors as well that may be at play to ensure that you have to do a balancing act.
I will continue with our conversation on SOEs,
yes,
but we'll have to go for a short commercial break.
Sure.
Do stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.
Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Welcome back to the Evening Review. The Finance Minister, Ipumbushimi, recently described the state of SOEs as being mediocre. Do you think such an assessment is fair?
Well, I think that is the Honorable Minister's view. I will not necessarily want to comment on that, but all what I can say is certainly that state-owned enterprises, CEOs and MDs, they are committed to making Namibia a better place, and we're looking forward to have an ongoing engagement to identify threats that are in the process, that are in the way of progress, and to make Namibia a better place. We have all the ingredients to ensure that we make Namibia a better place. We have to work together, the shareholder, government, the board, the management, and the entire staff of the public enterprises, I believe that there is room for us to make Namibia a better place.
And then the other question I have is, we've seen the introduction or the enactment of the Public Enterprises Governance Act. To what extent do you think it has helped improve governance within SOEs?
Yeah, well, I think the Pega, as it is known, Public Enterprises Governance Act, I think the intentions are very good, but as the economic and business environment change, and the international relations setup changes and so on, some of these laws constantly need to be reviewed, amended, to align with a changing situation so that we can become relevant as well. So it's a matter of looking at whether we have still an enabling environment for us to operate. You recall also not long ago, I mean, we had to go through the situation of COVID. Nobody expected it. It has done a lot of damage. Nobody was prepared for it. And we had to realign. The same situation also now, I mean, when you look at the Russia war and its neighbor there, I mean, governments all over are affected as a result of that, and it's filtering through to strategic state-owned enterprises as well. We bear the brunt of it and so on. So laws that are made are not meant to be static, but they are meant to be revisited and to be realigned and to ensure that we are in line with the evolving realities on the ground.
I'd like to take a step back to the question I asked you on where the minister tore into the state of SOEs, and want to know, or want to at least establish from your end, is government coming through with support to SOEs, be it financial or in terms of creating the enabling environment to see SOEs thrive?
Yeah, I would say really government is always supportive, I think, to support state-owned enterprises. It really depends on the conversation that is initiated. It depends on the plans that are rolled out, particularly the business plan. Depends also on the issue about how this business plan is presented to government through appropriate channels. So government is always able to assist. I mean, my own experience, I mean, now 15 years in this space, government, I cannot recall of any that government has turned down a request for support from the Ludras waterfront, for instance. So the principal support is always being given based on the business plan, and I think that sometimes it's just that government may commit, for instance, to assist, say, 500 million to a certain public entity, but in the end, of course, due to competing priorities and so on, you may probably just get half, and you have now to try and reprioritize and see what you can do with that 500 million or what have you, and then to see at least what you can do about it. So the country, we understand, of course, the country is facing enormous challenges. I mean, there are also people that are living in the rural area without water, without electricity, without roads. There are still young people who sit there without employment. The current crops of MDs and CEO of public enterprises, they are aware about these issues. And we do have engagement to see to what extent we can work together with government to resolve some of these things as well, because the state-owned enterprises has capacity to contribute towards the Namibia that we want.
Thank you for joining us on the Evening Review.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a pleasant evening.
Thank you.